Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Saturday, just under 24 hours away from Arsenal getting underway against Brentford, or 24 hours anyway at the time of recording this video. I have no idea when you're going to be watching it yourselves, but yes, we are a day before Arsenal's game at Brentford. Feels like quite a while since Arsenal played, certainly in the Premier League. That Man United game feels a long time ago now. Arsenal looking to bounce back from that defeat. They have, of course, won in the Europa League since then with that victory at FC Zurich. But this is the first Premier League game since the defeat at Old Trafford, and Arsenal very much looking to get back on track. Mikel Arteta looking to break the manager of the month curse and going on and winning there. So I'll be looking today at who could play in that game, a little bit of team news and some comments that Mikel Arteta made in his press conference yesterday, but you wouldn't have seen them at the press conference. It was as part of the embargo section, so they didn't go live until 10:30 last night. A couple of interesting bits there on Rowe's injury and Thomas Partey as well, potentially going away with Ghana during the international break. So we'll start with sort of the team news. And the good news is Ben White. There's been lots of talk about, is Ben White going to be injured? Is he going to miss the game? Well, he trained yesterday and so should be travelling with the rest of the squad. They've got another day's training session today at London Colney, and then they go in later this evening or late afternoon. They go off to the team hotel where they'll stay overnight, and fully expecting Ben White to be involved in that travelling party. So good news, Thomas Partey obviously trained as well. No sign of Zinchenko, but that's only from the training pictures that we've seen. So not sure if Zinchenko has made it. Very, very doubtful. I can't imagine. I know Mikel was very coy about it yesterday, but as I said, I don't see Zinchenko making it. I'd be stunned if he does, but certainly good news on Ben White and good news on Thomas Partey as well, which will make Arsenal a much stronger proposition with Thomas Partey in the heart of the midfield tomorrow against Brentford. And talking about Thomas Partey, Mikel was asked about him in the press conference yesterday about potentially going away with Ghana. He has been called up by Ghana for the two friendlies they've got coming up during the international break. Obviously, that's not ideal for Arsenal considering he's been out for weeks. Will be coming back for tomorrow's game, his first game. I can't remember the last time he played, but certainly he's been out for weeks. And ideally for Arsenal, they'd want him to stay behind during the international break and continue to make sure he's 100% fit and not risk any further injury. But he is key player for Ghana, massively big over there, and understandably they want him to play in preparation for the World Cup. And Mikel was asked about it, and that's what he had to say. He said, "For sure, my priority right now is that he has consistent performances and availability with the club. We haven't managed to do that at the level which I think is required. It's true that he has a duty and a responsibility to go to the national team, and if that's the case, if he's fit to do so, they need to manage him in the best way possible because we cannot continue like this." So you can see there Mikel's getting a little bit frustrated by Thomas Partey's consistent or constant injury problems. Not surprisingly, Arsenal spent big money on him. He's a massive player. He's so important. You can see that when he plays, and when he doesn't play, Arsenal are a much weaker side. But he just can't stay fit. It's just been constant string of injuries since he arrived at the club, and you can tell. And like Mikel says, we cannot continue like this. It's going to get to the point, if Thomas continues to struggle with these injuries, where Arsenal have to look long term and think, do we need to get a proper replacement that we can actually rely on to be fit for most of the time? Because as great as Thomas Partey is and as important as he is to the team, if he's not available, then can you really afford to keep just sort of dipping into your reserves to fill such an important position? So it's going to be a key. It's going to be a key thing. And like Mikel says, they've got to try and find a way of managing him so that he can play consistently, because he's just not done that since he's arrived at the club. He was then asked, are you going to ask Ghana not to play him in both games? Try and manage him sensibly. And he said, it's not about asking, it's about having an understanding of the situation, the amount of months we are going to need Thomas for, and what is between those months, i.e. the World Cup. That we have full communication to look after the player, all of us, in the right way. There is only one thing which is important, that's the welfare of the player. So he's suggesting that Arsenal and Ghana need to really be in discussions and try and work out the best way forward when it comes to managing Thomas's workload, because vital for Arsenal, vital for Ghana, no doubt about it. And it's going to be very good to see him back in the side tomorrow. I imagine he will certainly be starting. Right, another player that Mikel spoke about in the build-up to the game was Emile Rowe. He mentioned him in the sort of live section of the press conference yesterday, which you guys would have seen, when he talked about the sort of groin problem that he's been struggling with for ages now, that he just can't shake off. And he was asked further about it, and asked, are you worried is it becoming a real concern, the fact that Smith Rowe just can't shake off this injury issue that's been plaguing him for about a year now? So I'm concerned about the fact that we don't have him available, and when he's been trying to train, he's not been feeling 100% or pain-free. This is the main concern, and we have to find a solution to that, and we are trying to do so. It's very frustrating for him. He's a kid who loves playing football, and it's the biggest thing in his life. When he's not capable of doing that, especially after the running games and performances he had with us last year, it's difficult, but injuries are part of football. They're going to get them at this stage of your career. It's how you face up to difficult moments and how you're going to make the next step. You have to go through that. So interesting comments there from Mikel, and you can see for all parties it's just a frustrating situation, because we saw what Smith Rowe did when he was fully fit in the first half of last season, how much of a goal threat he is. I think it was 9 goals in his first 19 games. And then he just couldn't get a consistent run after that, because he was constantly getting injured, constantly breaking down, just not feeling right when he's trained. Lost his place up to Gabriel Martinelli, who's just been brilliant since then. And it's just been difficult for Smith Rowe, basically for about a year now, since the turn of 2022, because of this issue. And he needs to solve it. And you think it wasn't long ago he was in the England squad and looking like he's probably going to be going to the World Cup. That's certainly not going to be happening now. And so you can see why Mikel says it's frustrating for Smith Rowe, because he wants to play football. You saw in the pictures that were posted after he suffered the sort of, recurrence, whatever you want to call it, during the warm down at Old Trafford in the last game. You could see how disappointed he was. He sort of went off, covered his head, and just, almost looked close to tears. It just must be so frustrating for him. And it's something that the doctors, everyone needs to try and work out. But it's kind of about managing the situation. I don't think it's an injury that is something that, I saw James at The Athletic, he wrote a piece on it, and he was saying that it kind of linked to growing pains almost with him, rather than the actual muscle type thing. So it's a complex situation that they're trying to get on top of and trying to manage him through. That's why he can actually play through it at times, because it's not like a genuine muscle injury. It's more of a growing thing because of his age. And like Mikel here talks about it further, he says it's something pretty common at a certain age, especially if you go from where he was to where he went straight away. It's our responsibility to manage him in the best possible way, to surround him with the right habits as well, with the right people, and to give him the support, everything he needs to play at this level consistently. Mikel wants Smith Rowe playing. We want Smith Rowe playing. We want him to, even if he's not going to be starting at the moment, because Martinelli's just been fantastic. If you bring Smith Rowe on with 25 minutes to go, half an hour to go when the team's tiring, if you bring on that Smith Rowe who played in the first half of last season, who was just so quick, so direct, so dynamic when he was on the ball, when he runs with the ball, defenders are going to absolutely hate that in the last half hour, and that's the sort of impact substitutes you want. So to have a fully fit Smith Rowe on the bench would be fantastic in the Premier League, and also you'd be using him in the Europa League as well. And that's why Arteta's so keen to get this sorted. It's why Emile's so keen to get it sorted. And it's just going to be it's going to be a difficult few months, I think, for him, because you just got to try and manage him to get him at least 90% fit, which he just hasn't been for a long, long time now. And I can't imagine he's going to be playing tomorrow, so it's going to be another game he's going to have to sit and watch from the stands. And each game that happens, the longer he stays on the sidelines, the harder it's going to be to get himself back in the team, because he's going to be watching this Arsenal team evolving in front of his very eyes, and he wants to be involved in it rather than sat in the stands having to watch it, and then sat in the medical room at London Colney while everyone else is out training every day and working. So, yeah, frustrating for Emile and frustrating for Arsenal. Right, predicted 11 time for tomorrow's game. Now, I know I got last week, so now I got the Zurich one spot on, which I think is a record for me when it comes to Europa League, especially because they're normally really, really difficult. I doubt I'll get this one spot on, but this is what I'm going to go for. Now, I think one of the big decisions Mikel's got to make here is right back. I know Ben White, he trains, so he's fit, which is great. But I do wonder, Brentford are so, they're so direct. Arsenal came unstuck against them last season there because of how direct they were, how strong they were, the balls they got on, the long throws, all those sort of things. And it just makes me wonder if Mikel's going to have Tomiyasu in mind for this game over Ben White. Not because of anything that Ben White's done, because I think Ben White's been great this season at right back. But Tomiyasu's so strong in the air. He very, very rarely loses an aerial duel. And I just wonder if sticking him on that back post to try and deal with some of the set pieces and the long throws that might come into Arsenal's penalty area might be an appealing option for Mikel Arteta. So when I was putting this together, I was really toying with it. I was thinking, who is going to be at right back? Who is going to be at right back? I've gone for Ben White, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if I'm totally wrong there and it's Tomiyasu. But I think that's the main thing that Mikel will be looking at. Other than that, I think the side is just obvious. It's gonna pick itself. But I'll be really interested to see who lines up at right back tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Tomiyasu. But this is what I'm going for then. Predicting 11. Obviously, Aaron Ramsdale in goal. No question about that. And then I'm going Ben White at right back, despite everything I've just said. Ben White at right back. Then Saliba, Gabriel, Kieran Tierney. I don't think Zinchenko's gonna make it, so I'm going Kieran Tierney at left back. Of course, Thomas Partey, after training a week, I'd be stunned if he doesn't start. I think he will go straight back into starting 11, so he'll be in that holding role that we know that he performs so well. And then in front of him, I mean, the rest of the side is just, we know what it's going to be. Xhaka, Martin Odegaard, Saka, Gabriel Jesus, and Gabriel Martinelli. I can't see any sort of surprises, especially if this is Arsenal's last game before the international break. I just think all the big hitters are going to start, and so that's it for me. I just think Tomiyasu, Ben White is the one that I'm questioning in my mind. I'm just thinking tactic wise, Mikel might well be looking at that. He spoke yesterday about Brentford and the problems they cause teams, and their physicality, and Ivan Toney and how good he is at sort of holding the ball up and things like that. And it just makes me think, is he going to maybe consider Tomiyasu? Now, Ben White's not bad in the air. I think he's decent in the air. When he arrived, everyone sort of questioned him, his size, and thought he's not that good in the air. I've seen nothing to suggest that since he's been at Arsenal. I think he's really good, and when you look at his stats, he wins an awful lot of his aerial duels. But Tomiyasu's on another level when it comes to his aerial ability and winning those back post aerial duels. It just makes me think. But having said all that and praised Tomiyasu, I still think he's probably going to go for White. So one more time, predicted 11: Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Tierney, Partey, Xhaka, Odegaard, Saka, Jesus, Martinelli, and then the usual suspects on the substitutes bench. Let me know what you guys think about that predicted 11. Would you be happy with it? Who would you play? Who do you think Mikel Arteta might go for? Anything you've heard there or anywhere else in the video, please do let me know in the comments below. Right, I will be at the Brentford Community Stadium tomorrow, midday kickoff, remember, so early start for that one. It's a very early start for some of you guys who are watching it in other places around the world. I will be there, and I'll try and do my usual stuff, so keep your eyes peeled for pre-match stuff potentially, and certainly post-match stuff as well. Have a very good Saturday, everyone. Have a great start to your weekend, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.